until December, and we've still got dahlias. Of course, they're not really growing anymore. We've still got a few buds, but I want this greenery to soak up as much sun as possible, to feed into those tubers and make nice fat tubers for overwintering. So the longer the frost keeps off, the longer I will leave them in. And as soon as it gets frosty and the leaves get really, really crispy and brown, then I'll dig them up. But for now, it's incredible to still have dahlias on the go. The sweet peas, however, are pretty much done, but I've stopped picking the flowers because what I'm hoping is they will start creating these pods and we'll get some seeds, because sweet pea seeds are quite expensive. So if I can just get loads of self-sown, self-fertilized seeds, and actually there's quite a lot when you start looking. There's another one here. That'll be next year's crop. Down here in the garlic and onion beds, everything is going great, but I realized I should have put in deeper amount of soil, because what's happening is these garlic, for example, are growing, but the root growth is butting against the cardboard and basically pushing them out of the soil. What are you doing down here? How cool. And there'll basically be a airway strip along here of beautiful lights. So for many of you that have been following the channel for years, you know that this area is the Lookout. And it's a place where we used to camp, and now it's a place where the goats live in there. Sorry, I got distracted because there's buzzards up here. And this entire area used to be covered in brambles. So it was probably grass to about here, and then it was brambles and just weeds all the way back. And it's called the Lookout because if you come to the edge, you can look out over into our pit. So the idea is that we want to fence the whole of this periphery, obviously cut down a lot of these weeds, and it will basically give you a lovely view over the edge and down into the pit where there's a lot of wildlife. And actually, if you stand here, sometimes you can see deer moving around, you can see rabbits and all manner of birds. So the idea will be fencing along here, and then some shrub roses and some herbs and things. And then this area itself, we will put some benches into and use this as our kind of goat experience place. So today is finally the day when I can start thinking about getting some fencing up. Now this fence is purely aesthetic. It's not to keep stock out or anything like that. It's just to have a nice place on the farm. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having a farm and a few really pretty places. So that's what we're doing. So it's simply post and rail. So there are my posts, here are my rails. My rails are 12 foot long. I bought them in 12 foot long strips, so I can cut them down to 6 foot. But I'm not sure I have enough posts or enough rails. So we're going to start at this side. We're going to put in post and rail as we go, and we'll just see how far we get. And yes, I know this looks like an incredibly awkward way to do it. Really, I should put all the posts up first and then put the rails on. But I am terrible for putting things in the wrong place. So I'm gonna do it bit by bit. So I lost the light yesterday, and that's the problem with these winter days, they are so short. But there is only 1 month until the winter solstice, so we're counting the days down. However, this is what I got done. So I got this section done here, and I also brought over another load of posts, and I just kind of popped them in where I'm aiming for them to go. So you can see over here, it swings around this way, then this way, and then it's going to swing back up this way. I have left a little gap here because I am planning on putting a gate there, and eventually when I have 2 weeks spare where I don't mind doing some majorly hard work, I want to, this is ridiculous that I'm even contemplating doing this, but I want to make a path through here, and then I want to terrace steps all the way down there. Slight madness. And I don't know whether I'll be able to do it that way. I may actually, because a lot of stuff has been dumped down there over the years, so that is not stable soil. Looking over here, this is more stable. So what I could do is I could have the path come through here, and then I could stagger it so we could move along that way to that bank and then slope back down that way. I might do that. It might actually be easier. But that's a long way off. For now, I have got to crack on and try and get the rest of this done, and then start putting on the second rail underneath. So with a little help from my friend, we have finished the top rail. I left that gap here for the gate, and I should say I am no DIY expert. If you know me, you know the channel, you know that. So this is by no means a how-to, because you'd end up with a wonky looking fence like I have. But I don't care, it's rustic. So at the end, I've left the posts a little bit longer, and I'm going to put a light on top of those. That's a white lie. I didn't mean to do that. I was pushing it into the ground and there's concrete underneath. So I've left it longer, and I'm going to stick a solar light on it. But I have done exactly the same at the other end. Hopefully anybody coming along will not realise that that was a mistake, because I've done it there too. So I've made synchronicity. So now I need to plan where I'm going to put the next rail. So it's only going to be a 2 rail post and rail fence, so I'm just going to start putting on the second rail. done! Kind of, because we ran out of wood. I'm actually really happy with it. It's obviously not made to keep animals in or out, it's just aesthetic. I moved it, originally it was going to be right against the edge, but I've moved it in a bit because if I am very careful, I'll be able to get my ride-on lawnmower just down this edge. I may end up using the strimmer because if I make one move too much, I'll end up rolling down the hill. But it also leaves enough of a gap for me to plant the roses and the shrubs. I originally was going to put them right along the base, but it's going to be too much of a lure for goats. So instead I'm going to put them slightly back and make a nice kind of boundary to look over into the pit. But for now, it is done.